Candy, it's sweet like candy in my veins. Baby, I'm dying for another taste.
I forgot the next one.
Oh my god. Every time I feel like we're spinning around us, the thunder's getting louder, louder, louder. Baby, you're like lightning in a bottle. I can't let you go now that I got it. And all I need is to be struck by your electric love. Baby, your electric love. Electric love. Welcome everyone to the Identity Crisis Podcast. I'm your host, Dylan George.
And I'm his host, Sean O'Neill.
You need to be at least, I need your energy, like a little, you're down here, I need you to be up here.
I did even try to like jump pitches. I noticed the whole time.
I just had to hold on to it.
Yeah, I was like, no, not jumping it.
Sean, you're disappointing me.
Any other time, I got it. Probably shouldn't have stayed up till 7. That was my bad.
I can't believe you.
That's my bad.
So you slept 4 hours.
Sleeping is a relative term.
Jesus Christ. I hate you.
I'm
going to start like making sure you have coffee to inject into your veins. I'm not letting you drink it. I'm injecting it directly into your veins.
That'd be super sweet if you just like, came into my room and be like, I get coffee.
No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm making sure you have coffee for you to inject in your veins. So you're not like a dead person, like a dead zombie walking.
I'm not a dead zombie walking. I'm prettier than that.
You need your glasses too?
True.
Yeah, don't forget he needs glasses as well. He just doesn't wear them.
Glasses are stupid. No offense if you wear glasses.
You wear glasses sometimes though.
Yeah.
In fact, you wear fake glasses, so the only reason you wear them are for looks.
No, those are blue or the blue light glasses.
Then why do you wear them outside?
Because there's a lot of
blue light?
There's a lot of blue lights outside, Dylan.
No.
There's a ton of blue lights. I don't know what you mean. Cops can't see them.
It's really bad. I get pulled. I see someone trying to pull me over to the side. I'm like, what the fuck you want? Quit tailing me.
The car's making some weird noises. I'm like, take it to the mechanics, buddy.
You should really check those brakes.
That's really not good, bud.
Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are doing well. As you can see, Sean is as tired as can be, and he is basically a zombie at this point.
Yeah. We are also missing another host.
We are missing Amelia. She, right now, is taking like her final test to get her pilot's license. Yeah, so we obviously didn't want to have her cancel that to come here because she's been working on that for a couple months now. And
a little bit longer than a couple months, almost like 2 years.
Really? Mm-hmm. Holy shit, I didn't realize it was that long. Yeah, but point being, big thing, and she needed to be there. And she might even be in the sky right now. So
that's true.
Everyone wish her luck.
Yeah.
We hope to hear after this that she passed and she can fly now.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
We're really happy for her. So, how have you been, Sean?
Good. Recently, really good. Pretty much found the love for streaming that we've been looking for.
This is very true. So, for those of you that haven't been able to make it to our streams, we, on Wednesday of this week, had one of our most successful streams. Our definitely most successful stream since.
Yeah.
So we both decided to play some Terraria, which I had never played before. Yeah. Literally, what do I keep doing?
Oh, no, that's not you. It's your water bottle you put up there. Good job.
It is.
Good job.
It's called Heat. It's got a giant icicle in it. Which I'd never played Terraria before. I literally bought it maybe a day before. I think I bought it just a day before.
And you downloaded it 10 minutes before the stream.
That's right. Yeah, because I forgot to download. I was like, oh shit. But you had played it for a while. You know a fair bit. The only thing you really didn't know was the newest update.
Yeah, I didn't know the newest update. But funny story, the first time I actually played that game was mobile.
Really?
Yeah, I actually played on mobile first because I was like, I didn't know that it was a PC game or anything like that. So I downloaded it on the mobile to play during a flight out to Texas, I think. So I'm sitting there playing it, and I like got hooked on it. I'm like, all right, this is actually cool. Little did I know there was bosses in the game. I played the game for hours and hours without actually fighting the boss.
Really? I mean, yeah, there's not really a tutorial to it, is there?
On mobile, there is not everything else.
Okay.
But like
crazy?
the tutorial on mobile.
Oh, it's the TV. I was fucking.
Yeah.
I was like, who is talking?
No, the tutorial on mobile is more just building, placing, crafting.
I gotcha.
But I don't know. It was still cool. And then I like came back and I'm like, huh. Or I was like, I wonder what it is. So I looked up a guide and I'm like, this game looks 5 times more different than what I
bet it does. Yeah, like you don't really, because it seems pretty expansive. Like we've had 2 like 6.5 hour streams. So I've been playing like for 7 hours basically, and I feel like we barely have scratched the surface.
Oh yeah, we haven't done anything yet.
Yeah. It feels really. I mean, it's really fun to play. Yeah, I've thoroughly been enjoying it.
See, the thing is, what I love about it is like you get to experience it firsthand, and we get to go through a whole playthrough, which is awesome. I'm just wanting to try to learn how to build better in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So
I have such a hard time building. I don't know why, but I cannot place well.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Twitch chatter says first time I played was also on mobile, but it was so much earlier.
Yeah. Mine. I think I was. I don't even think they had some of the bosses in there. Like, I don't think they had Duke Fishron in the game. You don't know
Whatever
who
that is. That's a great name, though. Duke Fishron?
You're going to hate it.
That sounds like a giant fish that I have to fight.
Pretty much.
Hell yeah.
He is god-awful.
Well, good thing that I can walk on water.
We're going to make
Bromulon for the win.
We're going to make platforms because there's no way you can outrun him.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I know very little, and you've basically been teaching me as I played.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you grasped it. Yeah. I mean, you.
Oh,
understand.
I mean, it's like it's got a pretty simple concept. It's just like you need to know what to craft or how to craft it, what's needed, like all the little game elements, which I'm still honestly kind of learning a little bit. Like there's something you mentioned, I'm like, I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah,
or stuff like that.
It's little things that, I mean, these are things that I take for granted that I picked up randomly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, I probably need to teach you about that. Oh, yeah, he will get wings. We will make him get wings.
I can get wings?
Yeah.
Bromulon can fly?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Pretty much, I'll set it up to where we can get wings like the first night of the game.
Nice.
But from that on, from now, like in the game, we're at this weird point where we kind of need to either go into the jungle and raid that.
Okay. Don't we have a jungle near us?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think it's to our left.
I believe so.
Because pretty much there's a boss in there that we want to fight next.
Okay.
Or at least in my mind, that's the one we do next. And then we probably do the Crimson one, but that's later on. But pretty much right now, we need better weapons.
True.
That's why we're doing more of the jungle, because the magic weapon you get in there from that boss, amazing.
Awesome. Yeah,
probably
I'm doing like a magic stat or build basically. Magic and yo-yo really.
Yeah, we're gonna have to kill it a bunch of times though, because if we don't get lucky on our drops, we're screwed.
Really?
Especially since we're not playing expert mode.
Drop rate is lower and easier
Pretty
difficulties.
Much.
Makes sense.
Yeah, in expert mode, you actually get treasure bags that give you bonus items. And
okay.
Yeah.
For killing bosses or just things in
bosses.
general? Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I was going to make us try expert mode.
Yeah, we died so many times.
Yeah. I mean, it's something like we could transfer over to, but that's up to you. If we
Maybe. I think we'd still want to play some more on this.
Yeah.
But we'll probably eventually do that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, with how big Terraria is, we'll probably be playing it a fair amount. At least I think.
Yeah, I mean, like I think Sunbagel, I think it was you that brought it up.
One of the Twitch chatters.
Yeah. That there is modded Terraria.
That sounds interesting.
It is super cool. I love it.
Yeah, we'll probably have to end up doing that. But anyways, so we streamed it Wednesday, and it was like a super successful stream for us. We had like double the amount of average viewers. We got 4 followers during that. We got a fair amount of like viewer retention through most of it. So that was easily our best stream, and we were both in there, and we really enjoyed it. So we did it again Friday. Again, also pretty successful. So we'll probably be doing a lot of Terraria streams with both of us in the future because we've been enjoying it, and so have people been watching it. So
right, and I mean, combo streams have been seeming to do a lot better for us.
Yes, that's something else we noticed. Like, if you've been following us, we usually have done like we'll alternate like just one of us is streaming.
Yeah.
But we have noticed when on the off chance we did the combo streams where it's both of us, that they were a lot more successful and a lot more entertaining. So we're probably going to be doing a lot of those just more often, where it's both of us playing on our channel. Because we personally think we're a lot funnier that way too.
Yeah, I think like we already discussed this. Monday's stream plan is a game that we're gonna play together. It's not Terraria, but it's another game we're gonna play together. But third or Wednesday, right? Wednesday we're jumping back into Terraria, but we're also having another streamer friend of ours join us.
Yep.
So if you guys want to stop by and say hi to him, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We highly suggest it. He's probably one of my favorite streamers right now.
Oh yeah, he's we've talked about him before. But he's a friend of ours, the Great Uke. He started streaming a little bit before us, but I've been hanging out with him for most of the time. Yeah, he's really good, and I think he's really good at streaming.
Oh yeah,
he's entertaining, and he's a video game developer, so he or like an independent developer, but he knows a lot of that kind of stuff and all that programming things.
Talk about giving you something to talk about. Like, he's so good at that.
He can break down like any game really well.
And there's rumors that he's creating his own character.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
So, another thing we should mention, we have our great character, Bromulon the Third.
I created some very basic art of him.
So during that Wednesday stream that was super successful, I created a character in Terraria named Bromulon the Third that basically looks like that.
Yeah.
And that was a bit that we basically had going on throughout the whole thing. It was basically like how you would treat a D&D character.
Pretty much.
Where you just kept kind of creating this backstory as you went along.
Yeah,
and you played as the character.
You stayed in character the whole way through.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much what D&D is, creating that character and staying in it.
So, and people have been really enjoying it. Like so have we. We think it's really funny.
Yeah.
So we have Bromulon the Third, and he created artwork. So we have him just hanging out with us today. We also through our Friday stream probably basically made the decision that we will call our followers Peaches.
Yep.
Because you can check out the clip and we'll probably post it. I think it's already on YouTube or on our Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we already have it on Twitter, but there's a clip where I'm going through my inventory and I'm just sorting through stuff, and he's just streaming, and from his view he's just like, all right, put my cactus here, put my kite, my peach, and I just like pull out my peach from my empty hand, and it was really funny.
Timing was great.
Yeah, it was perfectly comedically timed.
A lot of our streams have been comedically timed.
Yeah,
like the slime thing last night.
Yes, that was true. Yeah. Make sure to check out the VODs. The VOD for Wednesday stream is already up on YouTube, but the one for Friday will be up later today. If you follow us on Twitter at IDC Podcast and Instagram, you'll see when it goes up.
Right.
But yeah, so that again has been going really well. So we're making in Terraria a peach room, which you said it's already been completed, or is it still being worked on?
It's pretty much completed.
Okay.
I'm not a builder in any sense of the word.
I mean, I'm not anything in Terraria except for a newbie.
Yeah, but it's cool. I have an idea for it that we can get more into when we visit it. But pretty much Sunbagel has the prime spot right now.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So we're basically what we're doing is we made a peach room where it's again for our peaches. You got your followers, all of our followers, and so we're gonna have like names of all of our followers on there, and anytime someone follows, we add them to the list.
Yeah, and then I'll probably create some more artwork for like follower, like
we're trying to add something to the alerts where it's like my peach and shit like that.
It's not just boring going.
Yeah, I still think that's cool, but the more we can make it our own, the better.
Right, exactly.
So anytime we can do that, I'm down. Yeah. Something I should mention though. So last night, I'm the one who hosts the world, so I always need to be on for anyone else to be playing as well. They need to so like I didn't really want to build. It got late at night and I was getting tired, so I just stayed on, and then I let him play. So something I realized this morning as I logged off, I figured out I never buried myself.
Yeah, you locked yourself in the room. I saw that.
Is that what I did?
Yeah.
Okay. So blood moon is when the door is open, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then what happened is that there was a blood moon, and I died, and I spawned outside, and I died a lot.
Oh, God.
So we may or may not have a massive graveyard in our house. There are like 20 graves
That's
at
so
least.
bad.
I pulled it up and I just see 1,000 graves all over. I'm like, that's probably all me.
Yeah, that's it's tragic.
So
Oh my God.
we are probably gonna have to become the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, we're gonna
on
have to
our
clean that
stream.
up. Definitely.
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Good Lord.
That was not a good thing to find earlier today.
Yeah, I was wondering when you were gonna log back in. I was wondering if you're gonna explore or not, but that's pretty great. Yeah, we're gonna have a fun time with that one.
Yeah, so our house is a graveyard at the moment, but it's okay.
Yeah. As far as I know, I don't know if there's any specific thing that can come out of a graveyard, like any special item.
Oh,
All I've seen is that it's like a zombie farm almost. And
Okay.
ghost spawn, but that's all I know. I just think it's a cool concept that
is interesting.
Yeah.
Like when I was towards the beginning of it, like I had some gravestones, so I just started placing them down. I'm like, I'm gonna make a graveyard.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, no,
Yeah,
that's
no,
actually
no.
real. Don't do that.
No.
They'll just start spawning ghosts.
Yeah.
So we stopped doing that.
If you break
Yeah.
the blocks under the gravestones, it breaks gravestones. It won't spawn ghosts. Huh.
Oh, okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
one of our Twitch chatters just said that. Okay, good to know. Noted for when we go back in and have to clean up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a lot of we've been just having a lot of fun with Terraria, and we'll definitely be doing it. We're gonna at least do it weekly, maybe even more. Like
Yeah.
once a week.
Yeah. I definitely once a week, if not twice a week,
Yeah,
depending on like the days. And depending on how far we get one day compared to the others.
yeah.
You know.
I mean, it's obviously depending, but we've been enjoying it enough, and everyone who's been watching has been enjoying it enough to where Terraria is gonna be a common thing.
Yeah. Not to mention, now there's a wiki.
Oh, how could I forget?
Yeah.
So
it's pretty much your wiki at this point.
well, it is.
Yeah.
I create it. How could I forget? So Wednesday stream, Amelia was hanging out there in chat, and as I created this Bromulon character, we had a wiki develop. She started creating a wiki. So I think she's still adding some finishing touches. Like there's some stuff from our last stream that she wants to add. So it's not public yet, but it
Right.
will be soon, we swear.
We've actually taken a look at it, and by God,
It is
amazing.
fucking hilarious. We cried laughing a
It
couple
is
times
so
reading
good.
it. But yeah, it's like, I mean, obviously I'm doing the bit, so I'm making like a bunch of dumb jokes and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So she's just like, she was just writing it all
Yeah,
down.
I mean,
and it's so good.
Major props to Amelia. If you don't know, she recently joined us on IDC.
Oh yeah, if you didn't know, she recently joined us as our third host.
Yeah, but pretty much she has been the one that's in charge of social media. Has
Yes.
been killing it.
Yeah, because we are bad at social
we're
media.
so bad at it. But
and as soon as we mention it, she's like, "Oh yeah, I'll do that for sure." And
Yeah.
she's already been doing so much better
she's
than us.
amazing at it. She's been active in every stream. You've probably seen
Yeah.
her. She's the one, like Amy Gang, I think is her.
Yeah, I think that's what her
Yeah.
name is on there.
Yeah, that's her. And last night she also joined the call when we
Yeah.
were playing games. But yeah, she's amazing. Been doing great right off the bat.
Yeah.
Love working with her. That's why we're like trying to support her as much as we can while she's doing her own thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Later on, we don't know if she'll be more present, but she'll definitely probably be on like a Discord call.
Oh yeah.
During this.
Yeah, I mean, she's actually doing things with her life.
Yeah, she's
So-
actually going to college and doing all that stuff.
So yeah, we're she won't be as prominent as us, but she'll definitely be sticking around.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a whole fucking wiki on the Bromulon, the third character.
I don't know how that girl's fingers are still on tag.
It's a full page. It has a
it's-
fair amount of detail.
It's not something light. It's
Yeah,
like
it's full.
imagine like a 4-page essay with like single space. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
kind of. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, she like took down all the information too.
I know. The funny thing is, like, some of the stuff I read, I didn't even remember.
Yeah,
Like, I named my brother Mr. Fists a lot or something like that. I was like, what?
You were just rambling on. It was so funny.
But here we were. So yeah, it was really funny. So again, make sure to stick around because we'll be doing Terraria streams, and we think they are pretty great.
Yeah. Well, duo streams in general.
Well, yeah, of course. Those will, from here on out, will basically the norm will be a duo stream, and we'll still have single streams every so often, but they won't be.
But that's
they
more
won't be
like
the normal.
If one of us really just can't make it.
Yeah, that'll be the exception, basically, not the rule, as you actually said to us.
Right.
We were talking about that for a little bit. But yeah, so look forward to that. We've really been enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
We can discuss that.
Twitch chatter said you accidentally created a whole bunch of lore on the first Terraria stream. Yeah, we didn't even realize how much lore and backstory there was until we started reading it back.
Yeah,
it was insane.
It is really funny that you created a D&D character right then and there.
I know, and it was just I think that was what was so great about it, is because it was just very impromptu.
Yeah,
like we did not plan that at all. I was like,
no.
What would be a funny little, when I was in the character selection screen, I was like, what would be a funny character? Like, oh, this guy's got like a cool mohawk looking thing.
Yeah,
and I'll call him Bromulon the Third or some bullshit like that, and then it just kept building and building on there.
Literally, like we jumped into a test world to see how it would go, and I'm like, what the fuck is that character?
Like, it's Bromulon.
Yeah, and I was like, oh god, this is gonna be a long ass
Explorer. Yeah. Though I gotta say, my voice is gonna start dying.
Oh yeah, you hate
but
green tea.
The voice is basically like this.
Yeah, you hate green tea, but you're gonna learn to love it.
Yeah, I know.
You're gonna be like, green tea with honey? Yes, please.
Tea is so gross. It's bitter.
It's
and yucky.
So weird.
It's just bad.
It's not.
It is.
Tea is great.
Tea tastes just so. That's the thing, and like it tastes bitter. It's hard to get down for me. Even with that like honey that we had last time.
Agave,
yeah.
Yeah.
I just barely could drink it.
That's so funny.
Yuck. Yuck. Give me more of that Hilton shit or whatever the fuck. Or
Lipton.
Lipton, that was it. What's Hilton?
A hotel.
That's right. Yeah, Hilton's a hotel.
I was like, you want a Hilton random ass tea mix?
Well, Hilton's got the green color scheme. I'm pretty sure they do.
I don't think they do.
I think they do. I'm almost certain Hilton has the green. Whatever. Point being, give me that Lipton green tea. That I remember liking. But I'm sure that's nothing near actual green tea.
No, that's just closer to like actual to sweet tea, which is just more sugar and basic tea leaves.
I liked it.
Of course you did.
I mean, I liked it when I was like 8. I remember my grandfather drinking all the time. And I'd take some.
I didn't like green tea when I was younger.
Well, I don't remember how actual green tea that Lipton stuff was.
Right.
Or if it was just like sugar water or shit like that.
Pretty much, yeah.
But yeah. So, would you like to explain, sir, why you were up till 7 a.m.?
Oh, yeah. So one, I was building the Hall of Tributes, pretty much, or just a tribute area, and that was usually till 2, and I was like, cool, I'm gonna go watch Netflix now. So, lay in bed, shoot it up to the big giant screen, and I was
this man moved how big is it?
65 inches.
65-inch 1080p TV to his room right in front of his bed, and this man's worried about blue light.
Yeah. So, anyways,
you need to start wearing those glasses when you go to sleep.
Nah. But anyways, I was watching Netflix. I was watching Umbrella Academy season 2, which I know you haven't watched the first one.
I haven't watched the first because I don't really care.
It's actually really good, but the concept of the show for season 2, amazing. The characters are still amazing again. That to the point where I lost track of time just watching episode after episode, and I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You didn't realize it was 7 a.m.?
No. I think I have 4 episodes left out of a 12 episode show for a season.
Jesus.
Yeah. It was so good. I mean, just the way they make that show work and like tie everything together later on. Ugh.
It's awful.
It's amazing.
I just can't. I don't know. What even is the premise like of the first season? I don't even remember. I feel like you've told me.
Without getting into spoilers.
Well, it's like the basic synopsis.
So pretty much 1 year, random like 100 babies were born out of nowhere. Like the women weren't even pregnant; they were just born and they had kids. But
What?
yeah, it's really weird. But
Okay.
then like some guy named Reginald Hargreaves, when he adopted 7, these 7 have powers.
Cool.
But it figures out that 7 doesn't have powers, so she kind of got treated like an outcast in the family. So later on, they grow up and they're all pretty much superheroes because that's what they were trained to do, except for 7. And then pretty much they all go their own separate ways, and the father dies, so they all come back together, and they all just have major discourse, and then a bunch of shit goes down.
Huh.
And time travel's involved.
That's always fun.
A lot of time travel's involved.
That's always interesting.
Yeah, and pretty much the whole basis of season 2 is they messed up time travel.
I feel like I remember seeing that in the like some promo on Twitter where it's like heavy time travel stuff.
Yeah, but it's cool time travel stuff because it's different in a way of like how you would think it would go about like all this, but I don't know. It's really fucking good.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only real like kind of new age superhero shows, because those have been coming out a lot, that aren't even like Marvel or DC stuff.
Yeah.
And not even necessarily superheroes, but like supernatural.
Yeah,
in
it's
a
like
sense.
people with powers almost.
Yeah, exactly. The only one that I've really been enjoying was the Boys one.
That was good.
I was surprised how much I enjoyed that one, because like the first time I saw like trailers for it for season 1, I was like, this doesn't look very good.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. It's like I saw it coming out. I'm like, okay, we'll watch it. And then the first episode, I was like, what the hell am I watching?
Yeah, it's very intense.
Yeah,
is a good way of wording it. Like I get grossed out every so often. I'm like, ugh, that's gross.
Like we talked about beforehand, that it's very much like a Watchmen type deal.
Yeah,
the people with powers
kinda.
abusing their powers, and I mean, it's a cool concept, but the whole show is, ugh.
Yeah, it's rough, but it's pretty good. Though, speaking of Watchmen, the Watchmen show, I know you haven't seen it yet.
I haven't watched that one.
But holy shit, is that show so good. It's so entertaining. And like I haven't even really I've read like half of the Watchmen series book. Like the whole graphic novel. I've only read like half of it because it's a hard read.
Oh, I believe it.
It is like it's not hard because it's like it's complicated, I think is what it is. It's just very there's like a lot of stuff going on to it. There's a lot of pieces to it, and it takes a lot of time to read. Like for me, I had to read like I'd read pages like 3 times over just to kind of like
comprehend it.
Yeah, to comprehend, to follow, really.
Right.
So I hadn't even really finished the book, and I never watched the movie because I heard the movie was awful.
The movie wasn't great.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
It was all right, but it wasn't great.
But I still watched the show because I thought it was really. It looked really good, and yeah, it's super good. Yeah. Like it's the action's really fun. All the acting is really good. The plot is really interesting, and it like keeps it. I mean, I know I can't say this real well because I haven't finished reading Watchmen, but it like fits really in line with Watchmen and all that. It's really interesting. It feels like a good continuation of Watchmen and not like some ripoff.
Right.
Which is always hard to do when you obviously don't plan for a sequel to something like that. You're like, okay, the threads already were wrapped up.
Right.
Where do we go from here? And they make that they make a good thread and string it along really well. And I think it's at least it was a couple weeks ago, but I think it's still free on HBO.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I do want to watch it. I mean, it was one of those I was interested in it when it came out, but I'd never like sat down to watch it. I don't know why. We might have been doing other shit at the time. Knowing us, we've probably had some random endeavor, but I don't know. It does seem interesting. But
yeah, it's really good.
If Amelia was here, she can attest to my thing that Umbrella Academy is great.
I don't know. It's just one of those shows that I don't really have any drive to watch. You know?
You have that drive with a lot of shows that I've made you like.
I mean, yeah. That's the thing. I really have a hard time being, especially mainstream shows. I have a hard time being like, I don't like. There's nothing that grabs me.
You just give it like 3 episodes.
I mean, well, yeah, I'll probably try it eventually. It's just,
Yeah.
Though you've also got me into watching this show called Psych.
Oh yeah, Psych is amazing.
It's pretty good. I think it's only finally now getting like into it.
Oh, yeah.
He's, for those of you that don't know the show, it's what was it, early 2000s,
yeah.
like comedy TV show about this really like ultra perceptive guy who like he can notice everything and anything.
It's hyper, like, what is it?
I don't know what the word would be.
Yeah, it's hyper exuberant, I think is what it is.
Okay. He just like can notice every fine little detail and can like repeat it and all that stuff. He's super perceptive. And he ends up like becoming a freelance psychic detective.
Right.
After he convinces the police department in Santa Barbara that he is psychic.
Right.
Again, using his like super perceptive skills. Like he tricks them into thinking he's psychic. And it's basically just him and his friend going through and solving crimes, acting like he was doing it through his psychic link, but really he was just doing detective
randomly
work.
doing like this little notion, putting his fingers to his head, and then like shaking his hands out.
Yeah,
somewhere.
like he does a whole act where he's like, and then he keeps grabbing his friend's head. It's like the super Gus head or something
Magic
like that.
Head. Yeah, he grabs it. It's like, yeah, my friend Magic Head, and he grabs it and he shakes it, and he's like, yes, of course.
And obviously, it's a comedy show, so there's a bunch of weird comedy to it. And there's like. And you said you've watched it since you were like a kid.
Yeah, I've watched that growing up.
So not surprising, because the more I watch it, the more I'm like, that's just Sean. And the funny thing is, the main character's name is Sean.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's Sean.
I really did derive my whole personality.
That's totally. Sean would do that.
Yeah.
That's something Sean would. A smart asshole, Sean.
Yeah. It's a great show. I love getting into it. I'm mostly. What's great about that show is now they're making movies.
Yeah, that's why you started getting me into it, because you mentioned that the second movie was coming out on Peacock.
Yep.
And then we started watching it because I had never seen it before or even really heard of it.
And it's so good. I mean, there's a bunch of like really good old shows like that. There's not as many like funny ones. Like Burn Notice is a really cool one.
Okay.
I mean, there's a bunch of them like that. White Collar's super cool.
Yeah, I don't know any of those.
Yeah, they're really good like USA shows.
Oh, okay.
Before USA went downhill, like fast.
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, I wish some of the old shows would come back.
Yeah, I think I do enjoy that Psych one so far, but like we're like 2 seasons out of 8, or no, we just started season 3. That's right. It got really repetitive, which was something I was starting to worry, but we've only watched a bit of the first or the 3rd season, but it starts to seem to actually having pick up.
It starts actually developing like a secondhand storyline.
Yeah, like that was my big issue. Was like there's no real goal or anything. Like it just kind of like season 2 just like ended. It ended with like a big story development, but it was like there was no real build up to it besides that episode.
Right.
So it's like, oh, we're already done with season 2? Okay. Yeah. So like there didn't feel there wasn't an underlying story, which I mean, I don't think you need necessarily,
but it helps.
It definitely helps, especially when you're like watching multiple episodes in like a week.
Yeah.
Because it's like, all right, I've already seen this. But it makes more sense when it's in a weekly setting.
Yeah.
But yeah, as long as it looks like they're starting to have an underlying story, which I would like.
Yeah, it's super cool.
But it's still really funny. It's still really interesting. I'm a sucker for smart characters in shows or in anything. Just like the smart character type is so interesting to me. Like,
that's always been my favorite thing. Is like when a character has the upper hand but doesn't play it till later on. You know?
Yeah.
They act like they don't know what they're doing, then they just like.
Yeah, those are always fun.
Yeah.
Like I think one of my favorite shows, like animes, is Death Note. For that,
never watched it.
Well, the main thing is that it's like a cat and mouse game throughout the whole story between 2 really, really smart people. Basically really, really smart detectives.
That's cool.
And that's the part that I like about it so much, is because it's just a bunch of like back and forth of really smart tactics and really smart plays.
Spy versus spy.
Kind of, in a way. I mean, not obviously as goofy.
Right.
But I mean, that's what I love about Death Note so much, is that there's just so many. It's just smart.
Right.
There's a lot of cool, smart things that the characters do that it makes me it keeps me on my toes.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fun. That's my favorite types.
Yeah, I actually haven't watched any anime recently, like this past week.
The only anime I've watched is, I think it's the same as last week, really, were Fire Force and ReZero.
Yeah, no, I think maybe a new episode of Tower of God has been dubbed, because I'm one of those people that prefer to watch dubbed rather than sub.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because I don't care to read.
There's a surprise.
Yeah, but once that comes back out, I'll finish that.
Mm.
So I can't wait for that one, actually.
Yeah, I do need to also start watching that. But Fire Force is still really good. It's beautiful as always. It's weird as always. It's the dub is voiced really well. ReZero, kind of the same way. It's still really good. It's not, at least, I mean, we're only episode 3, I think is the most recent episode, 3 or 4. It's not like nearly as brutal so far.
Oh,
but I would not be surprised if it gets brutal. I mean, because if you don't know, a lot of people call ReZero just like shock and awe.
That's funny.
Because they don't think it like the.
Oh, the opening scene to that show is so misleading.
Oh yeah. Like it's kind of torturous in a sense. But a lot of people don't think it's deserved. I really think it is. So like you're with a second season, you're kind of expecting a lot of like that same similar kind of torture and death and gore and all that awful stuff. Which I guess in the beginning it kind of starts like that, but it doesn't. At least so far, it hasn't gotten too brutal.
Right.
The most recent episode is really emotional, which is I think one of the strong suits about ReZero is it can pull off emotional scenes really well. Like literally one of the episodes in season 1 is just 2 characters talking. And it's really, really engaging because there's a lot of weight behind it. Mm-hmm. A lot of emotional development behind it as well. So somehow they turn a whole conversation into 24 minutes of engaging stuff. It's really impressive.
Yeah, I'd have to see that one.
I've been trying to tell you to get to watch ReZero.
Yeah.
But you stopped like halfway through or something.
I binged it all in one night, but I was delirious and I don't remember any of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's one of my favorite shows. Though I did also watch it in one day.
Yeah.
So which I don't think is. I think it's the best way to watch it if you want to enjoy it, but I don't think it's the best way to watch it. Well, I don't know how to word it. It's the best way to watch it if you want to feel it the most, if that makes sense.
Do a full-on roller coaster of emotions?
Yeah, basically. Like, there was a lot of... I felt a lot in that show.
Right.
While watching it in one day. Though, even though I haven't watched that much anime recently, I've been reading a fair amount of manga, actually.
I haven't been into the manga lately.
I mean, I've been keeping up with My Hero, even though most of that stuff's been slow.
Yeah.
So I haven't been I've been reading the most recent issues, but there hasn't been that much because of COVID and all that.
Right.
So I've been mostly reading new mangas and catching up to where they're at now. So I've read a couple. I've read, I can't remember what it's called, but there's one. It's a new one that came out a month ago or something, which is about this dude who wants to be a manga writer. Mm-hmm. For Shonen Jump, straight up, they call it Shonen Jump. And I'm reading all these on Shonen Jump, by the way, because you can access literally everything online that they have on their app for $2 a month, which is such a stupidly good deal. It's so basically this college kid wants to be a manga writer, but he's really bad at making good stories. But he can draw pretty well, but his writing is awful. Which you both need for a good manga.
Right.
So he's down on his luck, having a real issue, and then suddenly, as he's walking home after being rejected again, his house gets struck by lightning, and his microwave ends up popping out a issue of Shonen Jump from 20 years in the future, and it starts from this. It features a new hit manga that is super successful called White Knight or something like that. It's not that kind of white knight.
It's so funny.
I know. It's when you think
My
about
queen.
it now. Simp knight. No, it's not like that. It's about it's basically just like your perfect shonen manga. We really don't know that much about it because that's really not the story. Chatter says that is the coolest microwave I ever heard of. Yeah, it's really funny. But that's basically the synopsis. Like, he finds that Shonen Jump, and he reads it, and he's like, this is so good. And he, then after a while, like, it disappears. And he thought he just dreamt it up.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he was like, oh, I can't, this is awful, I dreamt it up. And then he's like, oh, wait, if I dreamt it up, I still think the story's perfect. I'll just write that. It's a story that came from my dreams. So he he basically copies as much as he can remember of the first issue, and then sends it in, and it goes through. Everyone loves it, and then so it gets accepted for an issue. It goes up. It's super successful. It's perfect. And then not too long after, the second issue comes out from the microwave, and that's when he realizes this is actually Shonen Jump from the 20 years in the future. And he just stole somebody's work in the future. And there's a bunch of dilemmas with that, and the story basically cycles from there. But it is really interesting. It's a good motivational piece, I think.
Right.
There's a lot of good drama to it. There's a lot of good just things happening. I know I'm explaining it poorly, but it keeps making the story more interesting in every chapter, really.
The last manga, besides My Hero, that we keep up with, that I think I read, was the Seven Deadly Sins one.
Yeah, I know you've been really into that one.
Because the manga is 5 times better than the show. And the show...
Well, that's not hard, considering how bad the show is.
True. But the show doesn't even touch on, all the good stuff.
Yeah, you kept telling me that the show just... You thought the show was okay until you read the manga, where you realized that they just skip a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah, I was like, there's so much stuff inside the manga that they never touch on. And I'm like, why did you not bring that up? I'm like, that would have closed so many, ends, would have tied the story together even more if you literally just did one other, scene. And they're just like, no.
Yeah.
And
I hate the Seven Deadly Sins show. He got me into watching it, and I've basically caught up, except for the most recent season, because it's not on Netflix yet, or it might just be. I don't know.
No, it was supposed to come out in July, but I don't think it did.
I don't know. So, either way, I haven't seen the most recent season. I've seen all but that. And I hate it. I think it's awful. My main issue with it is the story is a mess.
Mm-hmm.
The way I describe it is if someone took the key points and just all the story beats,
right,
wrote them individually on the note cards, and then put them all in order, grabbed them in a stack, threw them in the air, and then let them fall on the ground, and then just randomly pick up.
Yeah.
That's how the story feels.
Dude, the manga
it feels so out of place.
The manga is so fluid.
Then it must be. Then in that case, I think it's good because the concepts are fun, and I think the ideas there are really good. It's just none of it feels right.
Yeah.
It all feels all out of order, all out of place, and none. There's so many threads I feel that just don't get finished, and they have because there are so many threads. That's the thing. There's too many threads that the anime can't handle. It feels
right.
So it just kind of stops halfway through.
Yeah, it's like the anime is trying to create all these different crossroads, and then they're like, okay, this season we're tying them all together, and it's like, no, just.
But it doesn't even do that. We don't get the whole team back until the second season.
Yeah,
that's stupid.
Yeah, no,
and I think I don't. Okay, that's not inherently a problem. I think the big problem with it is it doesn't feel earned, because they're all right, the whole first season's about getting the team, the Seven Deadly Sins, back together. It's okay, cool. Yeah. We've got our goal. Here's what the season's going to be about.
We found 5. Now we stumble upon the last 2.
Yeah, that's really what it is. They just stop.
Yeah,
they're just okay, we got enough. We'll just, big bad, let's do it. That's what it is. It's so stupid. It's
stumbled
why?
upon Merlin. Cool. She's the one all in dog. And then it's oh, all right, we can go find Escanor, or we run into him while we're trying to escape a
Exactly.
demon.
It's we just found him. What?
He's definitely not the strongest character.
The one you should have found from the fucking beginning?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Literally the strongest character in all of the show.
And the thing is, like, it's just, that's my big issue, is the writing is all over the place for such a good concept. Like, it has so much potential. And I honestly think I believe you when you say the manga is great.
That's why, like, a lot of people who like the manga are so mad at it, because they're like, what did you do?
Yeah.
Like, it's not that hard. You just follow.
It does not seem like it was executed well at all.
And, like, I mean, there's so many scenes, like, later on, like, during, like, the first fight where they fight the main demon in season 1, whatever his name was.
I don't remember.
There was literally a scene where Bond, like, pulled out some crazy shit out of his ass, right? Like, just, like, full on went on a tear, and he stole, like, a bunch of souls from people, shoved it into him, ripped everything out, sent it all back. But at the same time, he didn't realize that he took the demons 3 hearts, and he crushed them.
Nice.
Yeah, and I was just like, this is awesome. And then, like, of course, he was like, I still have, like, residential life. And Meliodas was like, all right, bitch, bet. And he was just like, fight me. And Meliodas was like, all right, go. And he just did a full counter and just, like, but it was like a full counter times, like, 10 almost.
Yeah.
And he just annihilated him.
Yeah.
I'm like,
the concepts are good.
yeah,
They just
like,
don't.
That's so cool. Like,
They do not do them well.
Like, the powers they give him are so cool. Like, the idea of full counter is something I never thought about. And I just love it so much.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a simple, cool power. Yeah, I think they're good. It's just, the anime executes it so poorly. That's my big issue with it.
Honestly, I feel like it's kind of Netflix fault.
Netflix, I think, they just localize it. I don't think Netflix.
And I think they had say in it, though.
Do they? I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't really know how it was made.
No.
It's just.
Sometimes
think it's
big
bad.
corporations just need to leave it out. Activision with Bungie.
True.
Like, just stop.
True.
It's not worth it.
True. Yeah. So that manga is one of the big ones I've been reading. The other, like, prominent one that I haven't caught up yet, but I've been reading a lot of is Dr. Stone.
Oh yeah.
I started reading that a couple days ago, and it's so good, man. Dr. Stone's so fun.
I tried watching it. I just never got into the show.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what it was. I was just watching it, I'm like, I guess
I could see some people. It's nothing like amazing,
Yeah.
but it's pretty good. I can understand why people wouldn't, like, really follow. Like, I guess I could understand people just being like, yeah, I don't really like that much.
I mean, this is something really hypocritical from what we talked about earlier, but the guy, like, the main guy, or the Dr. Stone dude, yeah, he was too smart, you know?
So, I see what you're saying, but the thing, I think why that problem doesn't exist for me, because I'm in the same way. Like, like I was saying earlier, where I love smart characters. I love smart characters that deserve it.
Right.
Like, there's the one, what's it called? Is it The Outsider? I don't know. Fuck. I can't. I'm totally blanking on it right now. But basically, there was this one show that I watched that had a character who was, like, super smart, but it didn't feel deserved. It felt like she was just kind of a really good detective for no reason.
Yeah.
So I could understand why they're saying that. But the reason I don't think that's a problem here is because they do the different approach of explaining every single thing. All the science they talk about there is real. Like, that's how that science works.
That is cool. It's just, I guess it's like the first episode when they're encased in stone, and he was like, I counted as many times as the sun went over my head because I was still awake, and I know exactly what day we are. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Well,
I was like,
I mean, that's anime though.
I know, but I was still just like, this is so annoying. I'm not watching that.
I don't know. I think they don't run into that problem for the reason that they explain everything.
Right.
Like, it does feel deserved in that sense, not in, like, a traditional sense where they're like, oh, of course they would know this because this is this.
Right.
But I could see why people would be like, it's just okay.
Right.
But the manga is really good. I think the anime is also pretty good. They do a good job, sub and dub. I've watched bits of both, and they're both good.
Hey man, support your American voice actors.
Hell yeah. Yeah, they barely get paid as is.
Yeah.
They have to run like 20 jobs at once.
Yeah, they need all the support they can get. I mean, honestly, most of the time they are more dedicated than the original voice actors sometimes.
I mean, sometimes. It's because that industry is so fucked.
Yeah.
Like, they've had such a bad rap from early 80s and like 80s and 90s and
Right.
dubbed anime where they were bad because they had like $100 budget or
Right.
something like that.
Yeah.
Where it was so little and so few, like they couldn't do anything in Japanese. Like the Japanese company would basically have their like they were running it, but they couldn't really communicate well with people in English.
Yeah.
So like that was a big issue with Sonic at the time. Like Sonic Adventure 1, it sounds so weird and off because the voice director was Japanese.
Oh.
From Sega of Japan. So
Yeah.
they couldn't really communicate what they wanted, and thus the actors couldn't really do anything.
And a lot of times, like, when we went to the anime con here
Ichiban?
Ichiban, yeah, and we right there, and we talked to, or we went and saw the one girl who did Eva Evangelion.
Evangelion?
Yeah, I can't even fucking talk. But she was like one of the main voice actors in there, and she was talking about how she also does, like, she takes scenes and she has to figure out the wording to make it match up.
Yeah, she's
the same thing.
She's the translator for some shows.
And
as well.
like, something you never even think about that they have to do. Sometimes they have to translate for themselves because they don't get like the immediate script because it doesn't fit because I mean the dialect between Japanese and English is way different.
Oh yeah,
And I mean
but the thing with that you have to consider with even subs and dubs, both of them, they are interpretations of a specific translator or translation team of what that means. Because you have Japanese and English aren't one-to-one. They have so many different similarities to it that it's really hard to explain some things. Like even just like culture differences too. Right. There's some things that it's like it doesn't really make sense. So you're always gonna lose something if you're watching sub or dub. Right. It's just something is gonna be different. And the point that like with that panel that we went with the voice actor for one of the Evangelion people, the point she was making is like you're not necessarily going for what they're saying, but what they mean.
Yeah. I mean that was a big thing. Was a lot of it was more meaning than anything. Like the emphasis on words too.
Yeah,
that's what she was saying.
Yeah, that's a hard part with dub. Is like you can't obviously deliver every line like this. Yeah. You can't say it like a robot. Like you need to figure out what the inflections need to be, and the hard part is matching. The hardest part in the world is matching the mouth with what they're saying.
And I mean the facial expressions, because I mean you're not gonna see Bakugo going and then be like, "Deku, you little shit, I'm gonna beat your ass," and it's just like, no. Yeah,
you have to obviously match the thing there. Like dubbing is so hard. Yeah. The fact that we can get it as good as we have it is amazing.
Right.
That's crazy. The only other way you could do it is if you had so much money put into it that they can literally change how they reanimate some portions of the mouth to make it fit. We are so lucky that Japan, like anime, doesn't have as much like lip sync as English cartoons do.
Right.
Because if they did, it would be awful.
Yeah.
Like most anime has like they talk like this.
Yeah.
That's how the lip flaps go. But with English cartoons, it's a lot more like they animate the tongue, they animate like the specific mouth, like lip movement and that.
Yeah.
Like it's got to be hard as hell to dub English cartoons.
Oh, I believe that.
Because it just it's so hard to make it like that's not how the mouth moves in the same way.
Right.
So I think it's weird that people give dub shit because even though it's not always the best. But it's really hard to pull off. So when it's pulled off, it's amazing.
Right.
Like Re:Zero has one of the best dubs in the world, in my opinion. The dub is so good. Mostly, I think it's really carried by the voice actors because they really understand the role and they make it interesting and make it unique, even when it's like completely differently translated. But even then, I feel like the tone is really set well. The meaning behind it is still really good. The inflections is really well done. I think it's just it's really well produced. That's the thing about dubs is it's so hard to produce.
Right.
And like even with like the whole company Funimation, which is big, even though they have a bunch of money from dubbing all this stuff, it's not that much money comparatively.
Yeah.
Like, they need a lot more money to do this stuff. That's why most voice actors have to run, like, 80 roles or some shit like that. So that's so they can make a decent amount of money.
Yeah.
The only time... Like, this is... So, a big problem in the industry is that, like, with mainstream animated films or TV shows, they cast celebrities, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Because name recognition works better than talent at this point. Especially in animated movies. Like, look at any really mainstream movie. Like, a good example is the... Oh, shoot. What was the one with, like... I mean, obviously, this is the one I connected to, but it was about, like, this spy who becomes, like, a pigeon, and it's voiced by Tom Holland and Will Smith.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. I don't remember the name of that, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, but so it was a theatrical animated movie, but the characters were basically written to be Tom Holland and Will Smith. Even though if they made them just characters on their own, they probably could have been voiced by someone completely different and completely better.
Yeah, those characters
same
were
thing
made
with,
specifically for them.
Yeah, and kind of same thing with Onward.
True.
I think that might even be a better example, where Tom Holland voiced the little nerdy kid, and Chris Pratt voiced the bro dude. They just... Most voice actors don't really get those jobs because it's like, why would we? We have the actors who already have this name recognition and would bring people just because they're in it.
Yeah, you're using them for the name, not because of their talent. Not to say they're not talented.
No, that's for sure. It's not to say that they don't have talent. It's just there could always be a better person for the role.
Yeah.
But again, name recognition. That's a huge problem in the industry. I don't think it's as bad as video games.
Yeah.
I think video games have a kind of similar issue. I don't really think it's name recognition. It's more... I don't think it's name recognition in, like, the sense of consumer. It's more name recognition in the sense of the industry. Because Jesus Christ, how many times you hear Nolan North, Matthew Mercer, and Troy Baker in a video game?
Right.
Jesus Christ, they are in every fucking video game I can think of. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, good for them. They're all really good voice actors, in my opinion. It's just, I feel like, and I'm not going to act like I know how the business workings work, like how it all goes down in the background, because I'm not in those circles, really. But it feels like there just needs to be more people in that industry. I don't know if it's that there's not enough people in that career, or there's enough people, they just aren't getting jobs because they already have these three. Why are you? You're hungry?
I am hungry.
You just typed in chat, bros, I'm hungry.
Oh, no, that was me. Darn. Wild.
You are a sad human being, John.
I'm hungry. But no, like you were saying, a lot of the voice acting communities are very polluted with big names.
Yeah.
Which is very bad, mostly because there's a lot of talent out there. Like, I'm gonna hype you up. You have a really good fucking voice.
No.
I love it when you do like voice acting and you try out because you have it. But it's, like you were saying, it's that if there's a bigger name that comes into the picture, everybody else gets outshined.
Oh yeah,
like,
for sure.
No fucking reason.
I mean, that's part of the reason I'm not really like pursuing it as a career. Don't get me wrong, I love it.
Yeah.
And I would, if I'd eventually love to take classes and learn how to do it. But I'm only ever gonna do it as a hobby.
Right.
Like, I'll just be like, hey, this thing sounds cool. I guess I'll audition and I'll send in a clip and there we go. Right. I won't really think about it that much.
Yeah, I mean, we got the Harry Potter room.
Yeah, I literally, I go into our little Harry Potter room that we used for recording earlier for our older podcast.
Good times.
And I do the lines in there. And then I spend like a couple hours, maybe 2 to 3, maybe, depending on how many voices I'm doing. And I send it in, done, never think about it. If I get a reply, awesome. If I don't, okay.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Your voice is great for that. I have a fucking Eeyore voice.
You do have an Eeyore voice.
I sit here and I don't change. Like, I'm just like, okay, yep, nope, no emphasis, I'm good. But, like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, if you were to do it, I'd be, like, hyping you up the whole way through. Like, I think you definitely have it, but it's getting that first one.
Oh, yeah.
It's a domino effect. You got to knock over that first one to start getting
for
it
sure.
going. And that can be super hard sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, it might even the more I think about it, it might even be the same way for all acting careers. Like,
Yeah.
why would we choose this random person that we don't know much about? Let's choose the name that we already know is great.
Yeah.
I mean, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, maybe that's same throughout. It might just be like a problem with productions in general.
But at the same time, you can't really fault them for it because it's a safe bet.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, and that's the only thing. It's like it's not like
it's
they're
a
in the
weird
wrong.
dilemma.
Yeah,
it's a weird dilemma all around.
It
like I can't
sucks,
really
but
blame
smart.
anyone.
Yeah.
Per se.
Yeah.
But I think that's around an hour. I'm pretty sure we've maybe a little bit under, but
I think we're a little over.
Really, you think?
Mm-hmm.
Well, either way, you won't shut up about how hungry you are.
I'm hungry.
So I think that'll be the end of the stream, boys.
Yeah.
A little slower in a sense that we don't really have much news. There was nothing big with Xbox. The only real big thing was Halo Infinite's multiplayer is going to be free to play, which will be cool.
Yeah.
Sure. That's always fun.
Yeah, other than that, there was no big news that came out.
Yeah,
for anything.
not really.
Today was more of just us talking about what we found out works for us.
Yeah, and then I should point out that's something we would like to do. We try to be transparent about all this stuff because I think it's good to. I watch a lot of YouTubers and streamers, so I've seen a lot of the dilemma of like people want to be personal, but when something personal happens, their like viewers get really confused and like a lot of rumors start and and that just creates a lot of problems. Yeah. So I mean, I think we want to be very transparent in certain senses, not like with everything, but when it directly affects the show, we're gonna be like, all right, here's what's happening.
Yeah, these are our thoughts on it. We want everybody to understand where we're coming from.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, expect that kind of stuff. Anytime things affect the show, we will be as straightforward with you guys as possible. So I just wanted to point that out and set that precedent. But thank you everyone for watching. If you like us, make sure to give us a follow on twitch.tv/Identity Crisis Show. This will be up later on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Identity Crisis Podcast there. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at IDC Podcast to figure out all of our updates. Again, Amelia's running that now, so there's actually stuff happening.
Actually, if you are on our Twitter, send a DM saying like Kobe did well or anything. Just send Amelia some support for her test.
Agreed.
It'd be super cool. Really appreciate it. I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to, but it'd be super cool.
Yep. Yeah, that would be great. Yep. So, we'll catch you all later, guys. See ya.